Hi everybody!
Where are my glasses, dear?
You don't have glasses.
Interesting. Hello, and welcome to the Sunny and Joe Talk Show.
Is that what we're calling it? Today we're going to be going over where we went when we went backpacking through Europe, kind of our itinerary, and it ended up changing a bit, so we'll go over that and why. And our cat is going to play with a pencil on the floor, which you might hear. In between the tripod. Absolutely going to hit the camera. So we flew to Amsterdam and we stayed there for one night, well, 2 days and one night because we got there really early. And then we took a night bus to Berlin. That was our one and only night bus, right? We didn't do a single one after that. There was no point. We did not sleep at all. But we'll talk about that in another video. After Berlin, we were planning on going straight to Prague, but then Joe read about a city called Dresden, and we ended up going there. It was right in between Berlin and Prague, and it was absolutely beautiful. So we stayed in Dresden for 2 days, and then we went to Prague, and we stayed in Prague for 4 days. We did a day trip from Prague to Kutna Hora, and that was the place that had the bone church.
It was only about an hour away.
After Prague, we did 1 day in Vienna because it was a bit more expensive. From Vienna, most people go straight to Budapest, but we actually stopped in the middle and did Bratislava. And we're really glad that we stopped there. Yeah. Apparently not a lot of people go there, but it was really, really nice and the people were so friendly. I made a new Facebook friend there. Yeah, we went from Bratislava to Budapest and we did 4 days in Budapest.
Right.
From Budapest, Hungary, we went to Croatia, to Zagreb, and that's the capital city of Croatia. And from there, we went to the country just north of that, Slovenia. And Slovenia, not to be confused with Slovakia, their capital city is Ljubljana.
Ljubljana.
Yes.
Not spelled how it's pronounced.
Oh my god. No, it has J's in it, and it was super confusing and we didn't know how to say it for a very long time, but we went there and, this city, its mascot is a dragon. So it had dragons everywhere. It was freaking awesome and it was absolutely beautiful. And Joe and I had a debate about if a dragon for a city is cooler than a country with a unicorn as its national animal. Which is Scotland. So comment below which one you think is better. A unicorn for an entire country or a dragon for a city?
Dragon for a city.
I think unicorn for a country. I think that's awesome. Either way, mythical creatures, super sweet. So cool.
Sweet.
Super sweet. From Ljubljana, we went to Lake Bled and oh my god, it was so beautiful.
It's gonna be the theme of the entire video.
Oh my god, it was so pretty. Slovenia was my favorite country. Hands down, I loved Slovenia. Which one was your favorite country?
Slovenia.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna move there, probably, eventually. No, maybe. That would be a really cool place to live.
It would be amazing.
Yeah. Up to that point, we'd been just doing cities, and pretty much every city that we went to, we made sure to go to their little local parks, which some were really huge and beautiful. Yeah. But I really missed being in nature and having mountains and trees and green. So, I was thrilled. I was absolutely thrilled to be in Lake Bled. We did 2 days in Lake Bled, and then we took a local bus to Lake Bohjin. Yeah, and then we spent the day in Lake Bohjin, and we actually only intended on staying there for 4 or 5 hours.
A couple hours, yeah, not very long.
Not long at all, and it was just so amazingly beautiful that we ended up completely changing our plans to leave that night for the next country, and we ended up adding another night and staying.
Yeah.
Luckily we didn't have anything booked ahead of time. We kind of just booked as we were going along. Lake Bohjin is located in Triglav or Triglavski. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but...
They say Triglav or they say three if the locals there.
We don't know the language.
I don't know what's going
on. But it's in that national park. It's just this beautiful big lake that's right at the base of the Alps. So there was a waterfall coming from the Alps down into the lake, and I couldn't personally swim in the water at all.
Yeah, just very cold.
It was freezing. It wasn't me that was cold, it was the water that was cold.
Everyone was cold.
It was ice cold, like painfully cold, and somehow Joe was able to, you completely submerged yourself multiple times.
Yeah.
He was swimming and everything, and I have no idea how he did it. It was so cold. From Lake Bohjin, we were initially planning on going south, doing more of Slovenia, and then doing the coast of Croatia and some of the islands off of Croatia, and then from there taking a ferry over to Ancona, Italy, going south and doing the southeast part of Italy, which pretty much only native Italians go and visit. Nobody really goes there. There's no famous cities there, so it's really authentic. And we were gonna be able to practice our Italian, which would have been cool.
But we didn't do any of that.
Wait, but then we were gonna take a ferry back over to Greece from Bari.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we didn't do any of that. So when Joe saw how close to Italy we were from Lake Bohjin, because we were up in the northwest corner, and that's where it borders with Italy. So he wanted to change our plans. We were so in love with Venice that Joe really wanted to do more of Italy. So we found a train to Florence. We spent 2 nights and 1 day in Florence, and then we went to Siena from Florence. But just for a couple hours. We had dinner there and then went back to Florence and slept there that night. Then we took the train to Rome, and we actually spent 4 days in Rome because we found a campsite outside of the city, and it was a bus ride and then a metro ride into the heart of Rome. But it wasn't that far outside of it, and it was really cheap. Way cheaper than staying at a hostel. After our 4 days in Rome, we were planning on going down to Naples and Pompeii, and then Sicily. My family is originally from Naples and Sicily, so we wanted to visit those regions, but we couldn't get a train. So we took a train from Rome to Ancona, and we ended up going just straight to Greece. It was a bit earlier than we anticipated, so we actually had 2 weeks in Greece, but it worked out really well.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah. We arrived in Patras, Greece on a holiday, so it was a complete ghost town. Everything was closed. We didn't see anybody. We did a day in ancient Olympia, and then we went down to Athens, and we took a ferry from Athens and did 3 islands. We first did the island of Crete, which is the largest island off of Greece, and we did 3 nights there.
Yeah, we stayed in Rethymno on Crete.
And it's this city in between 2 major port cities. So it's not as touristy, but there was still a lot to do. There's a ton to do on Crete. We could have stayed there for easily over a week and had so much to do. From Crete, we went to Santorini, and Santorini was incredibly expensive in the Oia region, but we stayed in the complete opposite. Literally, Oia is up here. We stayed all the way down here, where the black beaches are in Santorini. From Santorini, we went to Ios. That was the last island that we did, and that's kind of known as like the party island. So then we took a ferry back to Athens, and we spent 2 days in Athens exploring, and then we had the night in Athens, and then we flew out at like 5 a.m. the next day, right? Really early the next day. And from Athens, came back to Edinburgh. So that was 45 days of travel.